Hi. Okay, we're gonna change the filament on the ender real quick, and the first thing that you have to do for that is if you come over here and look at that screen, I'm gonna press this button, and I'm going to go to prepare, and it gives me two options to preheat PLA and preheat ABS. Basically, I would choose the preheat ABS. It's gonna give you it's gonna heat up your nozzle a lot, and if you go and look here, you can see that our nozzle temperature is at 240. Which means that the filament that's already in the nozzle is now prepared to be pulled out of the nozzle. You have to melt it before you can pull it out. Sorry, I'm just messing with this. You have to melt the filament before you can pull it out, or else it'll get stuck in this hot end. And so all I'm going to do is, once everything's ready to go, there's a little spring-loaded clamp right here. And if you go look at from the top view, there's like, it kind of disconnects this roller from this gear, and that's what drives the filament through the system. So I'm just going to pull it out gently, and this one got stuck because it's old. So what I can do is, if I get a wrench, I'm going to get this thing, actually, maybe I can just pull the bowden tube off. I pinch this down, maybe I can pull the bowden tube out. Okay. And great, there's filament stuck in the bowden tube, so it looks like we're going to take this whole thing apart. Maybe this isn't the greatest example of how to change the filament. Okay, you can keep filming, but this will just be a different video. Alright, this is how to get a clogged old filament out of your printer video. Now, I'm going to just borrow some of these tools from Trevor. I'll put them back up on this. Got tools in my car.
Is this relevant?
Get my car tools. I'm just looking for something. I just need like something that I can kind of use to pry this bowden tube off
Do you need like pliers?
of the printer. No, I just need something to press down on this. You have to press down on these little white things. They're kind of like buttons, and it's hard to see. But I'm trying to just press it in, and it might not be totally. Maybe my fingers are just gonna be the best thing. Yeah. I feel like. Yeah, it's a lot of force that maybe I shouldn't have to be applying to this. And so, I'm thinking, I could just take off this little thing right here, this screw, or this bolt. We gotta figure out what that is. I think maybe it's this. Oh, that is perfect, Kai. Thank you. You are on it. I'm super lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. Loosey. We're good. We're still good.
You can probably grab it with your fingers now.
Yeah. It might be like it's kind of awkward to get in there with my fingers. I'm gonna keep going with this. So I'm gonna carefully lift this out whenever I get it unscrewed, because I don't. This filament. The reason that this is happening is the filament that's loaded has been loaded for multiple years, and so it just breaks everywhere. Yeah. And that is why it's stuck in here.
So is there a way to purge the filament in the future so that doesn't happen?
So the issue is, if you look, this is where it drives through, right? With a direct drive printer would have the motor like on top of this hot end, but since it's all the way over here, and everything's broken, it can't drive any filament. There's no mechanism in here to drive the filament through, to purge it through. So like basically I can purge it until it leaves this, and I'd still have like 10 inches of filament in the system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's why we can't purge it with this non-direct drive. I'm gonna see if I can. Honestly, it doesn't matter if it's in the tube. I can get it out of the tube with like a stick or something. It just matters if it gets stuck in the hot end. That is the more difficult thing to fix. And honestly, I can still fix it by just like using my hand to directly like shove filament through this hot end, which will be easier to do from here. So if I get this thing off.
So kind of like you did with the bamboos, you had like a special type of filament that you loaded that you had to like kind of push through with your hand?
Yeah, but with this one it's just like another, it's not like a special type of filament, it's just like any filament. Okay. Great, so look at that. There's probably filament stuck in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use this red filament that I have, and I'm gonna shove it through here and see if this go down and look at the nozzle.
With the camera or with
Yeah, with the camera. Can you see it? Or not like under it here,
Oh.
just from the side.
Oh.
Do you see that I'm just like shoving filament through directly?
Yeah.
And I'm using this red filament.
Uh-huh.
So now red filament's going through the nozzle, which means that I got out the clog. Okay, so to come back, I'm just gonna, now I can pull this filament out, because it's, yeah. So we're good. This is the filament, it's out. I'm gonna put all of this back together. Well, first I'm gonna get everything out of this tube. I'm gonna find a wire or something and shove it through this tube. Yeah. And then we're gonna keep going, so I'll be right back. Actually, maybe I can just use filament.
The filament, I was gonna say.
I have filament.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll just cut off the tip of the filament and use this spool of new filament to try to get rid of all this old stuff. That doesn't look super happy. I might have to cut off the end of the bowden tube. Which is like fine. As long as I can move this. Okay, yeah, I can move that. Cool. So the end of the bowden tube is kind of welded shut with plastic. I'm just gonna cut it off because we don't really need it, I think. I hope. And if I can just shove this red filament in, now you can see the blue filament's coming out over here. Right? Yeah. So that's how I'm gonna fix that problem. I don't think I got it. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's just like pieces. So we got that, and now all we have to do is get it out of here, which might be a little bit tricky. I don't know if I've got like tweezers or something. Maybe I can do it again with like the piece of filament. Shove filament through here. Yep. Okay, we fixed it. So now all of our purged filament is out of the system. We gotta put it back together. So I'm gonna shove this bowden tube down in here as far as it'll go. As far as it'll go. So I'm like putting pressure on it. And that's when I'm gonna like readjust the distance for this screw thing. Which is like kind of difficult. Let's see what's going on with that. It's like a little bit sticky. Which is kind of annoying. Yeah, it's hot. I keep forgetting it's hot. We're good. I just burn myself all the time. It's fine. I'm fine. I don't know why this is like sticking so bad. Oh, maybe I need to push this thing down to get it to slide. Okay, that's what it is. You gotta push in the button to get it to slide. I don't know.
You need another hand? No.
Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna try pushing it down in here. Now I'm gonna see if I can press the button and slide it down. Please. There we go. Okay, that's how you do it. Press the button, slide it down. And now, righty-tighty. Whatever. We're gonna get it. It's gonna be great. Do you think this was gonna be a printer maintenance excursion?
No, but this is awesome.
This is what you're getting.
Here for it.
Happy I know how to do this. It's been like years. Yeah, it's kind of just like, it's intuitive if you think about it. Like, I feel like this stuff is scary, but the enders, at least, are very, like, you can look at them and see what's happening. The important thing about this, and we didn't get to this part because this thing wasn't hot, but if you start taking apart things that are lower in the hot end, like the nozzle, and like that, with that stuff that gets hot, you really need to heat it up to the temperature that it is going to be operating at before you untorque it or torque it, because as like the material cools, it changes a little bit, right? Like it expands and it contracts, and so you can cause it to bind if you like tighten it down, like you torque it down like what I'm doing right now. You torque it down like super hard, and it's not at the temperature that it'll operate at. When it heats up, it can cause problems. But for this, it doesn't really heat up because there's a big red heat sink below it, so it didn't really matter. So then I'm just going to stick this back in here, and that just kind of pops into place. And I'm going to hope that this bowden tube is long enough for what we need to do, but if it's not, that's cool. I can get a different one. So now we're ready to reload the filament. We got the filament out. Normally when you get the filament out, you just heat it up and you pull out the filament from over here. We had to take it apart because the filament broke inside the system. But now I've got this new filament. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this blunt tip. I'm gonna cut it to be 45, like at a 45-degree angle or like a 60-degree angle. So now it's sharp.
Wait. It's gonna focus.
It's okay.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
want it to be kind of sharp because that's gonna help it not get stuck in the gears and stuff. It'll make it like a little bit more streamlined. So we've got a spool up here, and then the direction of the spool, kind of like you can make it so it directs this filament sort of in, so that like it will flow in kind of naturally. I'm gonna try to keep the extra under control. So then here's where I like take my spring and I unclamp it to let this thing into the system. And you kind of have to like mess with it to get it to feed all the way through the way that you want it to feed through. Like it's going off to the side here, but I want it to go in. So I'm gonna try to like work with the curve of the filament. Okay, come on, you can do it. It gets sticky, and if you really need to, you can take this thing off, this bolt, which we might have to do. Okay. Oh god, it's filament everywhere. Alright, I'm gonna have to take off this, since the filament is stuck, it's stuck on like the edge of this bolt, so I'm gonna take it off real quick. We can put it back on once we get the filament fed through. I need to get a small something. I don't know if that's gonna work. So you can take this tube out again, and then we just put it back, press the button, right? Take the tube out. We've got to find the correct socket key that fits on that.
But it's got to go over the.
Yeah, but it will. It's that one. That'll work. Okay.
That will do.
That will do. So now.
That will do, donkey.
That will do, donkey. So now I've got my get it on here. Socket set, and then I want to loosen it. Ah! I'm sorry, Trevor. Okay, I just needed that first little bit. Okay, so now it'll unscrew. So you can see why there's like room for it to get stuck. So now, maybe my filament, yeah, look, there it is. Yay, now we can just put this back on. Yay. So that's what, you can just take it apart a little bit. I'm just gonna hand tighten that, it doesn't need to be tight. Take it apart a little bit, everything, the filament gets stuck. So I'm gonna keep feeding this through. I'm gonna kind of unclamp this so I'm not like driving my gear. And now if you look at the nozzle, you're just gonna kind of, there's like a bend right there. But you're gonna shove this through until it starts coming out the nozzle. And if you take a look down there, you'll see. Is anything happening? Here, if I move it.
I think it looks a little clogged. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. So now,
Yes.
yeah, it comes out.
It comes out.
So we've done it. Yay. I'm gonna reconfigure that so it's not as like bent right there. But yeah, so that's how you do that. I will review the footage later to see if it makes any sense, but there it is. Enjoy.